So the movie begins with these two inventors that love their crackers and cheese, lad. But they have no cheese. And they're also looking for a holiday. So they decide to go to the moon. And then Walace does the most incredible sound of a rocket ship I've ever heard in my life. Just listen. Then Walace starts building his cracker-lacking ship. Then his table breaks. Yet not to fear, he'll use Gromit as the broken part of the table. A bit of building later, and look at this cracker-lacking ship, ready to go to the moon to get some of that cheese. Walace lights the fuse, but then he forgets the most important thing ever.
No crackers, Gromit. We've forgotten the crackers.
So he rushes down just to get a few packs of crackers, lad. He makes it just in time with the crackers, and they go for liftoff. But nothing happens. What's wrong with the rocket, lad? But Gromit just forgot to put a lever. So I pulls the lever and they go and zoom off. They land on the moon. That is entirely made out of cheese, as we all know. Walace decides to be the first man to play kickball on the moon. And now it's time for Walace to try some moon cheese. Yet he ain't really a fan of it. So they go off to find a better spot. Yet while searching, they find this weird looking robot. Walace decides to put a quarter in it, trying to do something with it, yet it don't work. So he just fiddles with it and then leaves. But the robot actually powers on and starts looking around before he sees Gromit and Walace's picnic spot. He heads over there and looks around for some cool stuff he sees. He then sees a magazine about skiing, and he gets the dream of becoming a professional skier one day. He then notices that Walace and Gromit are vandalising the precious planet that he lives on, so he decides to fix it, and he looks for Walace and Gromit before he spots the giant rocket ship, and he is absolutely stunned by this. So he writes them a ticket before noticing that it's also leaking oil onto his precious planet. So he decides to do the only logical thing and kill Walace. But he runs out of power right as Walace was about to die. Walace, being the kind man that he is, gives him another quarter and leaves back home with a bucket of cheese, lad. But the robot breaks in and lights the gas tank, causing him to go kabooyah! And he gets flung out the ship with two little pieces of metal. Walace and Gromit return home, while the little robot decides to turn these two little pieces of metal into skis. Finally, he can live out his dream. And that's the story of Walace and Gromit. A grand day out, lad. Thanks for watching me, lads. Remember to subscribe, and also remember to never forget
The crackers.